Hey, before we dive in, a quick note. While Laurie is a licensed therapist, this podcast is not a substitute for professional therapy or medical advice. If you need support, please reach out to a qualified professional, or if you're in crisis, dial 988. Welcome back to the Mind Out Loud. If you haven't listened to part 1 of Silencing the Locker Room Bully, I highly recommend going back because we laid the foundation for today's conversation. In this episode, we're picking up right where we left off, diving deeper into that bullying story, into self-awareness, mindfulness, and strategies to quiet the inner critic. So here we go. Let's jump back in. If I was sitting in front of you, you'd see my legs are just jumping like this. I feel just a lot of tension in my chest. When my eyes were closed, I could see every bit of that locker room, the color of the lockers, I could put you exactly in the same space I was, to the 2-foot radius of where I was. Might even be able to name the locker number. There was nobody else around. I remember that feeling too, like where the fuck is everybody? And maybe there were people and I just didn't even notice. Maybe it felt like there was nobody around. But yeah, feeling like I'm just vibrating, I guess, at the moment.
Mm-hmm. What about your head? Is anything going on in there? It doesn't have to, Nick. I'm just wondering.
No, it all just feels right here in my chest.
Okay, this is actually wonderful because we want to drop below the chin to start paying more attention to how we carry emotions in the body, because that's the signal to us that something's wrong later. Obviously, we know something's wrong in the moment, but how might it echo later on? Well, we pay attention to our body, and then that helps us further prepare for when something is going on in the moment, even if it's not really dangerous, but it's someone disrespecting or crossing boundaries. Then we pay attention. Why do I feel so uncomfortable right now? Let me take a minute to assess. Okay, so very, very good. You said, I feel it in my chest. If you could see my legs right now, they're jumping like crazy. I feel that tension here. Did you say heartbeat or no? Am I getting that wrong?
No, I don't think my heartbeat raised.
Okay.
Just I just a lot of discomfort, just
Yeah.
anxiety, anxiousness, pit of my stomach kind of feeling. That yeah, I just felt like I was hanging there all over again, wanting to.
Exactly. It's like no time at all has passed, right? And that's how we know it's a traumatic memory, a traumatic event. Okay. And then we've talked about this a little bit, but then I go into, most therapists do a negative cognition, but I like to do more than that. But so what are the automatic negative cognitions? And I know one of yours is, I'm small. And you're not small, you're 6 foot or 6'1" or whatever, and built. But what are the automatic negative messages from that moment that sometimes crop up when you're having a bad day?
Ooh,
Is this too much?
No, I'm good. The feeling of being ineffective, the feeling of just not being able to do anything about it sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
See, the feeling that I'm not making an impact. And I think that ineffectiveness, that's what does bug me a lot about my life, is I feel like I'm not getting enough done, or I'm not affecting my life in a positive way enough, that I'm not having an impact. It's the only way I can verbalize it, I think.
Yeah. And there's no way I'm going to stand in the way of that, because these are the things that we feel that we can't have any hangups about. And we just beat ourselves up for it at all. Well, that's why it's stuck there. And then I don't know how we are on time, but I would then have you together, we would calm the system down again. And then we would do what we want to feel or believe. It doesn't mean that you're going to walk out of the session feeling that, but I would ground you with the positive, all of the positive cognitions. So should I just name them for you for the sake of time?
Let's just, if you're okay, I'm okay. Let's just keep going.
Okay, great.
Let's,
Right, wonderful. Can I just let you keep track of time? Because as a therapist, I'm supposed to. So will you tell me if we're going too long, okay?
yeah. I certainly don't want to hang up on you now because you got me all fired up. So
Exactly. And this is the problem that a lot of therapists make. You can't leave a client in this dysregulated state.
yeah, let's bring me back down because I'm pretty pissed off right now. Not at you,
No, I understand.
just in my head.
This is
Yeah.
my goal, to bring you here, but then to bring you back down. Okay, so stress hormones are activated. That's what happens. They start coursing through the body when we remember these uncomfortable emotions. Now we want to bring them back down. Okay, so remember, this is just the first step. So I want you to think of a container, and it can be anything that you want. Let me know when you have that.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, now you're going to close your eyes and you're going to do 3 or 4 deep cleansing breaths. And on every exhale, you're going to breathe all of those negative emotions out and put them in the container. They're precious emotions. They have every right to be here, and I will take care of them, I promise. And we don't want to feel them anymore. So do several cleansing breaths, putting them in that container. You can even leave it over here with me, wherever it feels separate from your body. Do that now, and then let me know when you're done. Okay, now is when we allow ourselves to let every parts of us have a moment at the mic. So what I mean by that is we're going to replace these automatic negative messages with goals that we want to feel. Because remember, we're going to use science here. We're going to use the bilateral stimulation, and we're going to hardwire it in to the brain. So what are the positive cognitions that Nick would love to just feel, body, mind, and spirit, when he goes through that cycle of, oh, I need a thought stop, and boom, great. I can run through these mantras here. Am I explaining that right? Okay.
I think so. Yeah. So I I would want to be effective. I would want to be strong. I would want to be always creative. For whatever reason, strong is coming to me because I would want to, since we're playing in that space of the locker room, I would want to be strong. I would want to be effective. I would want to be able to not to push back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I can defend myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. This is how I do it. Do we need any more around the fact that the actual logic is that you are a success? You had a nationally syndicated television show for 11 years, which is like 100 or 1,000,000 years in TV time. So all around the country, Nick was on Just This Minute, or Right This Minute, excuse me, for 11 years, guys. That doesn't happen in TV very often.
I don't. Well, this is have to be a whole separate chapter in the EMDR. Maybe. I wish I am super proud of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wish it would manifest more as success, and it just for whatever reason doesn't. And I can spend a whole hour, I think, on that.
So that's a separate show.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. I understand that, Nick. Are you okay?
My eyes twitching.
Yeah. Oh, that's called psychosomatic. Often when and this from a therapist point of view, just so you know, this is good, Nick. So psychosomatic means the body is manifesting the emotions. Do you see why people don't do this? Because it's not comfortable. And we're not even going to the deep, dark, ugly, real deep, dark, ugly stuff. I know, because we have to keep it, you know, appropriate for this venue. But this was bad enough because it also,
Yeah.
a lot of things. It did a lot of things. I'm sorry.
I just, I want to make sure I signed up for this. This was my idea. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy. And I am very grateful to Laurie for agreeing to this experiment, because that's what this is. So should you choose to do these things, and I hope if some people really are looking for some help, I can see how this can be very effective. I'm clearly uncomfortable at the moment. Mm-hmm. But I see the process that you're going to take me on. And that is something I did not know. It's something I wasn't aware of. It's something when people go looking for therapy or feel like they need to talk to somebody, at least in my experience, all you know is, hey, you should go talk to somebody. Well, I got a wife to talk to, or I got good friends to talk to. I didn't understand the science behind it that you have opened my eyes to just now. So I'm shook a bit, and that's okay. That's, like I said, I signed up for this. Mm-hmm. And I am fidgeting like fuck right now. I'm playing with everything that's on my desk.
Okay, that shows me that we need to go to resourcing, which is calming the self down. And I want to make it clear to everybody listening, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do EMDR. You can simply come in and get your needs met by doing talk therapy with a therapist with whom you connect in a neutral, non-judgmental, third-party supportive environment, and that may be enough. Nick's really brave and courageous. People think it's the opposite of showing vulnerability like this. It takes courage in spades, doesn't it?
I don't feel that way. I've had a number of people say those things to me, and that those things don't resonate. And that is another thing I would like to work on. And my wife, God bless her, will say things like, oh, you're so handsome. Oh, you're so sexy. And I just shut her down immediately, because it sounds silly when you say, oh, I'm brave, I'm courageous. That sounds silly to me. It's like, shut up. Mm-hmm. Oh boy, the awkward pauses sure do make great radio, don't they?
So this is therapy, though. There are lots of uncomfortable moments, and therapists are trained. This is where this goes against TV and airtime. Therapists are trained to an appropriate amount. Let those awkward pauses hang out there, because a person is trying to develop tolerance to the discomfort before we move it through.
Yeah. That's really good shit though, Laurie. And I want to continue with that, all of it. And no matter how uncomfortable it is, and I will go back and selfishly say, I need to do this for me. Mm-hmm. The podcast is a great idea. I want to keep doing it. And if people choose to listen, then I think that's great. But I strongly feel that this is something I need to do for me. And I almost even more strongly feel like this is something people need to hear. Because when I was looking for help and I wasn't hearing these kinds of things, this is the information that I think people need to understand. And hopefully it doesn't scare people from approaching these things. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it makes people work through it. And I do want to continue to do this. I did not like that feeling, but I see the practice behind it, and I want to keep doing it because there's definitely some things in there. I have tummy issues
Mhm.
that I just had some tests done on my tummy issues, and they're like, everything's fine. There's nothing showing up in your blood work. You're okay. And I'm thinking, no, I'm really not.
Oh, that's
And
psychosomatic. Your body is reacting to the emotions. And so some people may be able to get that through by verbally processing through talk therapy alone. So you don't have to talk about stuff to heal necessarily to heal it, because we can also, or excuse me, you don't have to do EMDR to heal it. If you're hearing that noise, I apologize. There's some sort of Skype noise on my computer. But I need people to know you do not have to relive the trauma in order to heal it, because there's another one that's called accelerated resolution therapy, and you barely discuss at all the actual trauma. I understand that we don't want to open Pandora's box for some people for whom exposing all of that brings the Goliath out and there's no putting him back. So I get that. I'm just trying to poke and prod where I can in a way that I know will eventually be helpful, but we have to go through the discomfort first.
okay. Well, thank you. I think.
I don't know that I've calmed. If you were in my office, I would then do something called guided imagery to bring the system back down and make sure all the stress valves are shut off.
Okay. Let's do a few minutes of that.
Okay. All right.
I want people to understand what that feels like.
Okay, this is just one of many techniques. Okay, we're going to do your safe place. So you're out in your safe place sounds to me as safe or calm place sounds like it is out in nature, right?
I have my spot picked out right now. I know exactly where it is.
All right. So now take a deep cleansing breath in. Exhale, release. This is a form of guided meditation because we want to make sure that we bring the heart rate back down, that we bring the entire central nervous system back down to calm, and that we shut off all the stress hormones. And the brain scans prove that this is actually true. Whether we give ourselves the gift of believing that we're in this calm place or we actually are, the brain doesn't know the difference. The body doesn't know the difference. So suspend disbelief and float into your safe place right now. Do another deep cleansing breath in. Are your legs uncrossed?
Yeah.
Okay, so just tap one knee and then the other as we're doing this. Okay, I'll explain this later. Tap one knee, left, right, and you can pick the cadence. Just keep that up as I'm taking you through this guided imagery. Now, in this beautiful place, we're going to use the five senses. So sight, and you can add or subtract. It just needs to be anything soothing that you see. Visualize it as vividly as you can while you're tapping.
Okay.
Feeling that stress leaving your body. Now, I want you to pull in all the soothing sounds of that safe place and allow yourself to experience those.
Got it.
Now, I want you to imagine what your body physically feels. I'm not talking about emotion. You're in a hammock, your toes are in the sand at the beach, wherever you are. So physically soothing to your body. Imagine that as you're tapping it in.
I see it.
Good. Breathing out all stress as we do that. Now the smells, the comforting smells, allow that to infuse your system as you're doing the tapping.
Got it.
The final one is taste. Whatever your favorite snack or drink is, imagine that and taste it on your tongue as you're tapping this in.
Okay.
Okay, now this is the last one, bring all of those senses together, allowing all the stress to leave your body. Keep that tapping up. All of these things coming together to form a sense of peace and calm. And then do that until I give you the last cue. Okay, and then with eyes closed, do 2 final cleansing breaths, putting anything else that doesn't serve you into the container. Then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay, I know this is a truncated version of it because we're on the air, but do you feel a little bit lower in your system?
I do. Yeah,
Okay.
I do. Those things definitely work. And those are things I practice normally. So it was slightly familiar.
Good.
It was funny that I had to laugh at my effed up brain halfway through. I was like, oh, I should have picked a different spot.
That's okay. I have many clients who've said that. You can change it next time. So
Okay.
the good thing about this involves neuroscience, the bilateral stimulation. So whether there are doubts or not, it still works. So I want to, then I would let the client know, here's your homework. This has opened up a box of some of those feelings. So you're not trying to not feel them. You're trying to cycle them through. So let yourself feel them for a few minutes and then say, okay, I need to be effective today. So let me then do a tool to push it through, whether that's what we just did or a meditation of your own or a 5-minute, I don't know, jumping jacks. I don't know, whatever it is that brings you back down to calm, get a glass of water, and then you've cycled it through.
Okay. I see that.
Physical, emotional problems. Yeah.
Would you go through each and every one of those targets that you talked about? Do you do that with every one of the targets that we've uncovered in my timeline? Is that what EMDR is?
The way that I see that it happens is that it's typically, many of them seem to fall under 1 or 2 umbrellas. So I put half of them under one umbrella because they all seem to relate, and you can disagree with me later if you feel the need. I want to hear. And then I have another under another umbrella. So I've divided them up into 2 different things that we work on through EMDR or accelerated resolution therapy if this one's too much for you.
No, for me, I think I would like to continue this. So I think my question is, the next time I see you, would we do a whole session of those things, working through each and every one of those things? Is that what that looks like?
No, the way that this looks like is, so starting from start to finish, an EMDR session is, we are going to start with what I just lined up with you. So we feel it again. We're going to go there again. You're right back in that spot. And I have you feel all the feelings. Then we do the bilateral stimulation. Since you're remote, it looks different than it would in my office, but we'll talk about that. So I'll have you feel the feelings, and then you'll do the tapping or the eye movement. We'll discuss which one you want. And for, let's see, it's 40 EMs, 40 eye movements, then a deep cleansing breath, because we're regulating all those stress hormones so they don't hurt you physically or emotionally. And then I'll ask you, how much do you care to share? Or if you don't care to share much, then you just give me the last thought. Then I take that and we do eye movement again. And I know it sounds weird and it feels weird, but what we're looking for is to suspend judgment until we do a couple of these to push this reactivity out, lose the pain, not the knowledge.
It's fascinating stuff. Laurie, thank you so much for your wisdom today. I appreciate it. I think this was a really eye-opening session for me, hopefully for our listeners too. Thanks a lot. We'll see you again in a week. I'm going to go do my homework.
Okay, I'll see you soon.